Hello, everyone, and we are back with our favorite phase of women's life, which is mid-age. That's where a lot of us get confused. But today's we have a special guest. She is Jenn Pike. She has done amazing work. She's a functional and holistic nutritionist, yoga plus Pilates instructor, as well as a medical exercise specialist. So, and she also runs her very popular podcast. So welcome, Jenn.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we want to focus on, I know you focus on hormone health, but we want to focus on the perimenopause phase because a lot of the women who are going through that, they don't understand what's happening in their bodies. So today's session is focusing on simple tips, what women can do during that phase.
Yeah, so I think most important to understand is just how long that period of time of perimenopause can be for women. A lot of us are just not only not, miseducated, not educated at all about that transition. So it can be anywhere from 8 to 10 years long for most women, starting in their typically towards their late 30s into their early 40s. And then that period of time, I'd say the most common, age that I see for women to really start to experience the symptoms of irregular cycles, spotting, body composition and weight changing, sleep changing, vaginal dryness, mood, those types of things, usually around the age of 42, 43, in the upwards of about 55 is where a lot of that typically happens. So the most important things, are to listen to your body when she talks to you. Really start to pay attention to the changes that are happening. So is your period changing? Is your sleep changing? Is your weight changing? Is your energy changing? Is your skin, your hair, all of those things. So taking account and taking note of that. And then when we think about what are the foundational elements so that you can move through perimenopause, gracefully, as opposed to feeling like the rug's being pulled out from under you, is really doing things like making sure your digestion is healthy and strong. So if you right now are suffering from a lot of bloating and gas, constipation, diarrhea, like everything for you shows up in your gut, that would be a really great place to start to support because your gut health is impacting your hormonal health. And so whether it is, using digestive enzymes, maybe it's doing some functional testing and really understanding what's going on, on a gut level. Balancing your blood sugar, I think, is one of the most, if not the most important things to be doing at any point in your life, but especially coming into menopause, because with the reduction of estradiol that the ovaries are starting to slow their production on, we're having more anovulatory cycles coming into perimenopause, which means we're not ovulating on a regular basis. So progesterone is lowering. Testosterone is, can kind of do its thing up or down. But if your blood sugar is not stable, if you find that you are constantly craving sweets, you're always reaching for something stimulating, you have to eat every couple of hours, you're never feeling truly satisfied, making sure that you are getting a great source of protein, make sure that you're getting enough fiber, healthy fats, and good quality sources of carbohydrates at each meal throughout the day. And in perimenopause, we really want to be ideally able to go a solid 3 to 4 hours at least in between eating and still feel stable, have good cognition, no brain fog. So that's really important. So honoring digestion, stabilizing your blood sugar. The other thing to think about is, how well are you taking care of your liver health? Because our liver is where we are metabolizing so many of those hormones. And this is simple things. I mean, literally like ditching the plastic and using glass for your water, filtering your water, getting in bitters, using digestive bitters, changing up your sources of your, organic, non-genetically modified greens and veggies, increasing your antioxidants, dry brushing, stimulating your lymph system. Those things are all going to support, really healthy, good quality liver health. And then the other things too is, how do you move your body? So if you're a woman that was always doing high intensity exercise and you were doing like a lot of, F45 and Orange Theory and CrossFit and everything was like a boot camp style, you're on your Peloton bike 7 days a week, you can still incorporate some of those things. But as we start to transition into perimenopause, that approach every single day, you're going to have diminishing returns. It's actually going to start to wear down and tear down your system behind the scenes. And for a lot of women, what'll happen is things become dysregulated in the adrenals and the HPA. So cortisol can become dysregulated. That can impact your insulin. And so when you're thinking about exercise and perimenopause, you definitely want to be doing some type of resistance training. Whether it's formal strength training where you're lifting, free weights and kettlebells and barbells, or maybe you're doing Pilates, either in a class or on a reformer. I'm a huge fan of yoga for so many reasons. I think that, learning how to use the body that you have as your most valuable piece of equipment and moving through asana practices that incorporate not just the physical, but the breath work is massive for women. It's a huge tool of stress reduction. It can help with your sleep and really just tapping in and tuning in. And then I get asked all the time, well, how much cardio do I do when I come into perimenopause? And honestly, I think the best form for women is walking and either using what's referred to as MISS or LISS, which would be moderate intensity steady state, meaning like you and I could go for a walk and we can chat, but every now and again we're going to be silent. Like we're going to need just a little break to kind of catch our breath, and then we can start the conversation up again. So it's not an intensity where, it's like, I can't talk, don't talk to me, this is too intense. And then you have low intensity steady state where we could go for a walk and we could carry that conversation the whole way. So that might be like a walk on a flat surface, but we go for like a 45-minute to an hour walk. Versus the moderate intensity state, you might be moving through some rolling hills or intervals, and maybe you're going for 30 to 45 minutes. When it comes to exercise in our bodies as we're transitioning, through perimenopause, the whole thing you want to ask yourself is, how do I want to feel? And we always lead with the opposite of how I want to look. And yes, like we all want to look good. We all want to have confidence. We want to feel great in, our clothing. But at the end of the day, if you are systematically wearing and tearing your body and your nervous system down, by doing much too much exercise, too intense of what it is that you're choosing, that's where you can start to get yourself into some issues. And so, but our brains we don't logically understand that, because we're like, I want to lose weight. I want to keep my waistline. So I'm just going to push deeper and harder. What I love about bringing in cycle syncing and attuning to your body of like, what phase are you at in your cycle this month? Or where are you at energetically? Is you very naturally start to create a deload period of time, where it's not about doing the same thing 5, 6, and 7 days a week. It's not about how many calories you burned, how much sweat, how much your wearable device told you that you had done. It's really about, I have periods of where I increase the intensity, feels good, and my recovery's good, and now I peel back. And then I increase the intensity again, and then other days I peel it back. So it's really important for us that if you, like, none of us are avoiding menopause. It's going to happen. But what we can avoid are the drastic declines in our estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, DHEA, the unstable environment through leptin and ghrelin. Like, when we're working with women inside of the Hormone Project, or if I'm just teaching as a whole, it's really giving women permission to intuitively do the thing that they know that their body needs, as opposed to listening to so much of the noise outside of us, which is telling us you're not doing enough. You got to do it harder. Where's your caloric deficit? Where's the extra calories that you should be burning? And we try and just like white knuckle it, which that is the complete opposite that our bodies need, is we're coming into our 40s and our 50s. And I say to women, you have to look back. Like I sit here 43 years old and I look back at my life and I'm like, you have to think of, what was your environment growing up? What was that toll on your body? What was it like when you were, going to school, building your career, having your babies, taking care of your family, supporting your partner, looking after your home? You've literally been running a marathon every single day in your life on so many levels. But, you don't get ribbons and awards for that. And no one's like over here doing the slow clap for you. So you just look at that as being like, well, this is just my job. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a homemaker, I'm a business. This is just what I have to do. But your body as a whole is sitting behind you. And she's like, excuse me, I am tired. I need more support in a different way. And, I think that this perimenopause journey, this is actually like the catalyst for so much wisdom as women moving forward. If we can slow down a little bit and really pay attention and really take care of not just your hormonal health, but your adrenals, your thyroid, your nervous system, the way that you are going to arrive into menopause and postmenopause is going to feel so much more connected and, much less scary for women. And I think we can flip the script and change the conversation away from it being something crappy and like, how women, like, it sucks to be a woman and I got the short end of the stick, to like, no, our bodies are actually really friggin' brilliant. We have a lot of superpowers in us. And if you can start to understand that, I think it can really change the trajectory of your health and how you feel moving forward.
I think that's beautiful the way you explained it so succinctly. I have to ask this question. You have beautiful hair and beautiful skin, and a lot of
Oh,
women going through perimenopause complain about, right? A lot of my friends complain about hair thinning, losing hair, right? So I know this is out of the kind of a topic, but I could notice your beautiful hair. So you have to give some tips on keeping the skin and hair tight over there.
well, I think that the most important thing, honestly, is the gut. Our hair is an extension of what is happening on the inside of our body. So keeping your cell health and your gut health, strong is really important. And the other thing is healthy fats, getting those omega-3s in, and your minerals, right? I think it's like we talk so much about carb, fat, protein, but your minerals, so your magnesium, your zinc, your B vitamins are really important. And then using products that are natural and actually nourishing to your hair and to your skin, getting enough hydration in. And so I do think spending the time to find products that are rich in oils, that don't have a lot of chemicals that are like surfactants. So things that foam more typically have chemical agents like, triclosan and, different sulfates, and they're stripping the moisture. So at the moment, it feels like it's good for our skin or it's good for our hair, but it's dehydrating from the outside in. And then what you're doing from the inside out, like getting enough water, bone broth into your body, looking at those nutrients that are going to give you a high yield. I mean, my hair and skin for me, my whole life, it's been about what am I putting on the inside? The excess stuff on the outside is just like the bonus, right? The extra benefit. So I use oils to cleanse my skin. I use oils to moisturize my skin. I try and use as little as possible. I use things like frankincense, and lavender and geranium and those types of things on my skin. And I've just really done less is more over the years. And I would say one of the biggest things is I don't drink alcohol. I, get outside in the fresh air and make sure that I'm getting exposed to natural sources of vitamin D. I prioritize my sleep like it is my job. And drinking filtered water. I think that those are, they don't sound sexy. They sound too simple to make a difference, but I really do think that those are some of the things that matter the most. And I'll say too, like lymph for the skin, I gua sha. Like I massage, I don't just like slap things on my face. I massage my face when I am cleansing it. I do inversions. I think as well, yoga, like flipping yourself upside down. The benefits for your lymph system is really important. So those would be some of my top tips.
That's beautiful. I had to ask this question. So this is great. If you want to talk about the programs that you offer for or anything else that people can benefit or join, feel free to do that before I wrap up. Do you
Yeah,
want to
so
talk?
I teach the Hormone Project, which we teach worldwide. We're in 113 different countries around the world teaching this program. And so we're virtual, doesn't matter where you live. And we run functional testing. So we do gut testing, we do blood testing, we do urine and saliva testing as well too. Sometimes we also do test the hair for mineral status. And so that Hormone Project is really, I say to women, it's like going back to school. It's everything that I really believe we should have known from a very young age about our bodies moving forward. And you work with a coach one-to-one as well. And then I have Synced, which is my online movement studio, and that is completely based on the phases of your cycle and on the moon. And then we have our Simplicity Women's Wellness Clinic, and that is really for women who, maybe don't want to come into a program per se, but they're really looking for some level of support. Could be, a consultation, it might be some testing, and some mentorship around their health and their well-being.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining us and giving us these very simple tips. They were not sexy, but they work, and that's what we have to distill to all the women out there, that sexy is not always good. Go for something simple and talk to your body. That's the main message. What you were trying to get across is talk to your body and listen to your body and see what it's telling you, and then act accordingly. And some of the other tips that you give, which I'm obviously not going to repeat here. So thank you so much. And we continue to talk about this topic. We're coming out with programs, partnering with some of the best experts from all over the world. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jenn, for joining me.
Thank you.